So, 3 months ago, my fellow fox, Fundy, uploaded a video featuring a game mode that seemingly was impossible to speedrun. And to be honest, I don't need a harder difficulty to fail a speedrun. So I thought to myself, I can't speedrun, but I do have some experience with surviving in hardcore Minecraft. So what if I... So, before I actually started this journey, I already knew this wasn't going to be easy. There are aggressive foxes and super fast axolotls spawning everywhere every time. Skeletons have some sort of a laser arrow with better aim than my average sword hit. But not even mobs are the biggest problem. Blazing water spawns a bomb of pufferfishes, so farming will be almost impossible. And standing still for too long will blow you up like the average village in creative. And that isn't even the worst, but you will find that out while we are going. But because I had the feeling this would be hard, I decided to get help from a true professional. Yatsu beat this difficult in his own video, and that kinda inspired me to do my own. And now, I didn't record it, but this idiot forgot to actually record any audio than his own voice and the copyrighted music playing in the background. So we might as well just... Anyway, Yatsu showed me a lot of great tips, such as how to spawn-proof my house and how to get rid of the mobs. And with the new practice, I reloaded the server one more time. And this time, I wouldn't mess up as bad as I did last time. So, about day 1 to 5, there really isn't much to say. I think I literally made every mistake Yatsu warned me about, and I mostly spent it gathering wood, but also making a small base the side of a mountain with a double floor with a double function, which I'm pretty proud of. So let me explain. So first of all, it prevents spawning of axolotls and foxes. Yatsu explained to me how they would only spawn if there was also a block below. But next to that, by making the hole underneath open, I made room for something I call the fox pacifier. It works by making the piglin on top of the foxes suffocate, making the foxes back to normal. And with the XP I get from it, I also get a ton of loot. Sadly, when trying to expand my base, I found out that stone spawns pufferfishes, and I died like 3 times. Until day 8, I recorded everything alone, and that got kinda boring, so I decided to stream it, and that went... interesting. I hate But while streaming was more hectic, a lot of good things happened as well. One of those things is that I moved my base to world spawn, and built it so that I'd respawn inside my house. If you wanna call it a house. And yeah, about that, in an attempt to improve the looks of my house, I added the standard logs on the corners and glass with oak planks. I know it's not the best building, but for decoration there wasn't much room, since making 2 blocks on top of each other made room to spawn foxes. I also spent a lot of time gathering basic resources such as stone and wood, but stone is the most interesting because, remember the start? And standing still for too long will blow you up like the average village in creative. That's right, because if you mine stone, it can spawn pufferfishes. The code doesn't say anything about blowing it up. So by standing still and moving out of the way the moment it starts to blow up, I could gather about 4 stacks of cobble and some coal and iron every time I blew up. And during this explosive mining strategy, someone pretty familiar liked onto the stream. With a very special message. I'm impressed you're still going. Did you really think I would have quit this quickly? Which was pretty funny in my opinion. So, to be honest, I think they 20 to like 30 were the most productive days of the whole challenge. And it's all because of the roof design. See, weather quits blowing you up when you stand still. It's really handy when mining. It's actually terrible for like, I don't know, the rest of the game. For sure, since this house is located on world spawn, so if I accidentally stood still, I would forever be stuck in a death loop. So the roof design was a roof of slabs, which are waterlogged. But there's one more problem with the roof. When coming up with the idea of this, I forgot one critical detail, and that is that every time you place a bucket of water, no matter where, it would spawn about 150 pufferfishes in an explosion of poison and harming. This for sure was a problem, since I had this notorious and dumb cat, which for some reason my life is bound to, because if he dies, so will I. So yeah, I took a couple of tests on that roof. But after that, it was time for a test. Well, not really, because I didn't want to risk it. So it would wait for another time. Meanwhile, I spent the rest of the day 30 to 35 trying to get the nether part sorted out. I made a huge mine to get diamonds and found some lava in the meantime. I made a diamond pick and went down with a bucket of pufferfish, because after making the roof, I remembered that the pufferfish only spawn when a water bucket is placed. If a fish is in it, nothing happens. So I mined 15 obsidian, went up and built a portal, but when entering, I found out there was another big problem. Walking in the nether will permanently set you on fire, except if you wear leather boot, which would run out of durability super fast. And that would mean I'd have to keep some sort of cow farm, but that would be another problem for another time. But to be honest, this is where it all slowed down a lot. The only thing I could do was get a leather, which was just an absolute nightmare. So let me explain why it is this hard. I don't have that many resources, so making better tools is a waste in the first place. I can't stand still to kill the cows because of the foxes, and if I get all the foxes gone for a second, and I'd get like 10 leather, a big troop would spawn, completely wiping me from the surface of the planet. And if I'm fully open, this was the moment where I was seriously considering just quitting the challenge. I don't know if the video would be worth the effort, because I definitely couldn't say I was doing it for fun. But then I thought back to the moment in the first stream, and the way I responded to that message. Oh, did you really think I would have quit this quickly? And that is when I decided I would finish this challenge. If only to prove Yatsu wrong. So I spent all of my time trying to kill cows. As a change of scenery, I decided to make a cobblestone generator, so if I ever needed stone again, I wouldn't have to call it self-killing again. So as I decided I still wanted to beat the game, I remembered I would need a ton of leather. So I spent the biggest part of these days to getting leather, where I even tried to set up a cow farm. Short summary, it failed. Like, completely failed. Like completely failed. I got one cow, then I died. I also decided to test out a theory. I had to place an obsidian block far above the player's head, so the squid would get stuck and explode. So I didn't have to place water. That worked, so I placed obsidian block above the cobble generator, and then decided that there was no way I would ever use that thing. And at this point is where the day count flew past, and at first, around day 63, I was happy about this, because to be fair, I couldn't be done too soon with this challenge. But as I progressed getting leather, I realized that after the 100 days, it would be game over. And if I didn't beat the game before the end, I'd have failed the challenge. So I would have never actually beat the game. And with that, as I logged on day 66, I finally got to test the roof. Or in other words, my game lagged while logging onto the server, and by the time I could move, I heard explosions, and I realized that the water roof was probably the reason I didn't have to start from scratch again. So to make sure I had a double layer of security, I decided to add the obsidian in the sky technique as well as the water roof. Next to that, I decided to kinda cheat by getting the seed and finding the fortress with chunk base. But I also noticed that I even underestimated that. I tried making a bridge, but the leather boots last about 5 minutes before breaking, burning it down like a marshmallow with fire. With the start of day 80, I started to get a little bit of stress. I didn't have ender pearls and still didn't enter the fortress a single time. But also good news was coming. I could see the fortress with my bridge and a reasonable amount of leather, and the diamond pile was stacking up to a pretty good amount, so I had faith that if I spent enough time actually getting ready, I'd be able to easily do it. So day 80 to 90, I literally only attempted to get more leather and started to see the fortress. But to really give me stress, day 90 started. And I knew I had to hurry. So for 4 days I prepared to go to the nether to get my stuff back. And at the end of day 94, I went into the nether with more willpower than before. But way less time than ever. So I knew I really had to put effort in this time. So I ran into the nether and was amazed to see my stuff still there. So I picked it up and immediately started to build the bridge. But this is where I made the biggest mistake yet. As I was building the bridge, I had my volume turned down so I could hear my music. So when I was closer to the fortress, I didn't hear how the blazes were already spawning. And the moment I got hit and started to fall down on the beat of 7 years, I knew that this is where the story ended for me. I hit the ground without any way to reduce the fall damage. And as day 97 started, I respawned back in my base. Without leather to get my stuff back, and without pearls and blaze rods to beat the game. But I wasn't about to just give up, so I immediately started to get more leather. But I noticed that all the cows were dead already. So with this intensely unsatisfying end, I decided to make a gravestone with a death and day count. And as I pressed enter on the last sign, I felt sad and unhappy, but sadly left with no choice, as the server I was using would be used for our new SMP. I understand if you are disappointed by this end, and just know I'm just as disappointed as you. But if you want to see me try this again with the knowledge I have now, or continue it, let me know by leaving a comment down below or tell me on my Discord, links in the description. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. This video took me over 3 months to make, and you can always unsubscribe later. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you either on stream or in the video another time. Thank you for watching.